Working in customer support is never easy. Working in tech support? I can't even imagine. Welcome to this episode of Tales from Tech Support.
Our first tale is from the J Train. I was working an alternating 12-hour help desk shift for a large parts wholesaler and during the day received a request to delete an empty subfolder on a NAS that houses all the quotes for the biggest city in our state. Doing my due diligence, I passed the request on to the night shift guy so that he can do it overnight, where it won't affect anyone, and so that I don't have to do it. I come back the next morning and ask him if he deleted the folder. "Yes," he says, "but I accidentally deleted the parent folder also. Sorry." The parent folder held all of the quotes for the entire sales department. All of them. And he just deleted it. And then left when his shift was over. I start scrambling to go to our server team to ask if they have backups for that NAS. Of course they don't, so I was just told to brace for impact once the CEO finds out. Of course, he finds out from the owner of the company who had received a call from that sales department at 7 a.m. asking what happened to their quotes and starts burning down villages on his way to the IT room. And then there I am, having to try to clean up the mess from the night shift guy who is now persona non grata according to the higher-ups, to the point where I had to send a written statement about the series of events that led to this guy deleting a folder full of super important quotes and why he did it. I tried to type it up in a way that maybe softened the blow a little since it was an accident. Thankfully, this was the second week of the year, so it was 2 weeks of quotes and not 2 years. They were able to scrabble together most of the quotes from their emails, etc., so business wasn't harmed too much as far as I knew, and the guy who was working night shift that week somehow didn't get fired either. He wasn't a screw-up generally, so that probably helped his cause, and the fact that he wasn't there to face the consequences probably helped. Night shift cures all wounds. It didn't help me though. Edit, many have suggested that backups should have been in place and why weren't they? The answer to both of those questions is yes. I feel like that night shift guy really lucked out, especially considering it was only 2 weeks of quotes, so it's good that he didn't wipe everything because I have a feeling if everything got wiped, that guy would have been wiped from the company. This next one is by Throw RA Narcissism. My brother can't log into Steam. Years ago, I realized he was not going to be able to manage his own account credentials, so I set up all his logins and emails with mine as the recovery backup. So I have all his account info for all his games and his email, so he won't lose all his stuff like he did last time. Probably thousands of dollars of game collection poofed because of fraudulent charges and him not knowing how to fix it. Sony sucks, by the way. I told him to bring your laptop by. It won't take any time at all. He brings his laptop by. It's not the $2,000 gaming laptop he got a couple years ago. It's a glorified paperweight of an HP with 118G. Pawn shop or sold it for quick cash because he wanted takeout most likely. I didn't ask. It's a common story. He sold me his Switch a few years ago instead of pawning it, so I was able to give it back to him to play on when he came to his senses. He gives away, pawns, and sells his high-ticket items all the time. Fortunately, he no longer has access to his own finances any longer, so his bills are paid and he's not homeless. He no longer has a car. We're not entirely sure what happened to it, but it's long gone wherever it went. I set to sorting out his Steam account. He's downloaded Steam 14 times, something called Steam Latest a dozen times. I uninstall Steam and random versions of the games he wanted that he found in German or something to free up his meager hard drive space and sort things out. Reinstalled Steam outside of program files as nature intended. I recover his Steam account and, in the process, discover my dear brother has created not one, but 2 additional email accounts that he's using for everything. One he set up his Windows with, another he used to make a new Steam account. While I was working on recovering his Steam account, Windows popped up with a verification request to prove it was him on his computer, or some garbage Windows 11 thing. His response was, "Oh yeah, that comes up all the time and I can't get rid of it." So I go to check out his Microsoft account. Sure enough, it's been locked. Get it unlocked, recover his Steam, set his Steam password to the new one he made, and update his email addresses on everything to be his latest and greatest email address. Set up recovery emails for his 2 new emails that didn't have mine as recovery emails. Made sure the phone numbers on all his accounts were his number and not some random old number that's surely someone else's now. Told him to just make sure to keep 18 gigs of his drive empty so it will function. All in all, far less painful than past recovery episodes. Tune in the next 6 months probably for another round. I definitely can see why he's been locked out of accounts and things like that, especially if you keep going and making new emails because you forget your credentials or whatever. I do wonder if there will be an update in 6 months. And our final one is from Fortissimo. Once had to restore a USB drive for my sister-in-law. The drive was having problems. She brought it to a repair shop with the reminder that the information on it was very important backups. Company stuff, calendars, customer info. They said they could repair it. The next day, she got a call. The drive was working again. They just formatted the drive and it was running smoothly. You can understand the horror. In comes me with my trusty Linux laptop. Have been running Linux from about 1998 till 2022. Plug in drive and I can pull one large file from it. I started searching for the hex start code for .zip in the file, cut all info from that code and saved the remaining parts as a new zip file. Repeated that for every start code. .zip had something funny. When Linux noticed the start code, it could unzip the file, regardless of the information that was after the end code of that file. As the number of zip files got larger, the file size got smaller. And finally, I could unzip all the files. It took me a whole day, but she had her stuff back. It's really gotta suck if you take something somewhere and you basically stress to these people that it has information that you need and that cannot be wiped. Why, in their mind, would they think formatting would be the best solution? At least if you had to go that route, pick up the phone and call the customer. Alright, that's enough tales for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Tales from Tech Support. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons and super thanks contributors. Have a great day and stay safe out there.